again, and today we will be discussing about thyroid disorders in general. So we will be talking about both hypothyroidism as well as hyperthyroidism. Okay, so both of the topics are very important from your exam point of view. So first we'll talk about hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism basically is a state of insufficient circulating thyroid hormone production, and it is almost always result from deficient production of thyroid hormone, which is caused by either a defect in the thyroid gland itself. In that case, it is called primary hypothyroidism, or on the other hand, it may be due to reduction of thyrotropin stimulation. That is, the defect lies either in the pituitary gland or in the hypothalamus. And in that situation, it will be called central hypothyroidism or secondary hypothyroidism. So yeah, it should be clear what is primary hypothyroidism when the defect is in the gland itself, and what is central or secondary hypothyroidism when the defect lies either in the pituitary or hypothalamus. Okay, now we will talk about congenital hypothyroidism, which obviously presents at birth. So most of the cases of congenital hypothyroidism, they are caused by abnormal formation of the thyroid gland, which is called thyroid dysgenesis. Or in other words, we can say that most of the cases of congenital hypothyroidism are primary hypothyroidism, right? But in minority of the cases, congenital hypothyroidism is caused by some inborn errors of thyroid hormone synthesis, which is called dyshormonogenesis, or there may be some other rare causes like mutations. There are certain mutations which are associated with hypothyroidism, congenital hypothyroidism. Okay. As far as the epidemiology is concerned, over the past few decades, the apparent incidence of congenital hypothyroidism has increased to about 1 in 2,000, and this is because of stringent screening, because hypothyroidism screening has been included in the neonatal screening programs. So that's why we are able to pick more cases even if they are asymptomatic. So routine screening की वजह से pick हो जाते हैं. Okay? So now, what is the etiology of congenital hypothyroidism? Mainly, as we have said, that it could be primary or secondary. So when it is primary, the problem is because of thyroid dysgenesis. The gland is not formed properly. There may be defects in the thyroid hormone synthesis. There may be defective iodide transport. There may be defects of iodine organification or defects of thyroglobulin synthesis. There may be radioiodine administration for certain purposes that leads to hypothyroidism, and there may be iodine deficiency, especially in areas where endemic in endemic areas where cretinism is very common. But for central or secondary hypothyroidism, the mainly thyrotropin or TSI, that is thyrotropin stimulating hormone, basically is defective, and that's why it is called central. Now, what are the clinical manifestations of congenital hypothyroidism? The babies who are born with congenital hypothyroidism, usually their birth weight and length are normal, but their head size is slightly increased because of myxedema of the brain. So there will be false macrocephaly, I can say. The anterior and posterior fontanelles are widely open. The sutures are widely apart. There may be history of prolonged jaundice due to delayed maturation of hepatic gluconolide conjugation, and they appear very dull, very sluggish, very lethargic. They cry a little, they sleep much, and they have poor appetite, and they're very, very sluggish babies. Right? They are hypertonic as well. They may have feeding difficulties and choking spells during nursing, and they also have respiratory difficulties because of the large tongue. This large tongue basically obstructs the airway, upper airway, and they can have apneic episodes. There may be noisy breathing and nasal obstruction because of the obstruction of the upper airway with this large tongue. The constipation is quite common in these babies. May have umbilical hernia. They may have temperature instability in the form of hypothermia. The pulse is slow, especially sleeping pulse is very slow. Face the problems of delayed dentition, their growth, developmental delay is present. Okay? Mental retardation is prominent in cases of hypothyroidism if they are not picked and treated at the right time. Their neck is short, they may have broad hands and short fingers, skin is dry and scaly, hypotonia I've already mentioned. and approximately 10% of infants with congenital hypothyroidism, they have other associated congenital anomalies, which could be cardiac, which could be associated, CNS problems, there may be eye problems, hearing issues. So we can see that congenital hypothyroidism is affecting all the vital organs. Now, this is the picture of a baby with congenital hypothyroidism, and we can appreciate that dull look, lethargic look. The baby appears very sleepy, and it has large tongue, and this large tongue basically will lead to feeding difficulties and respiratory problems, right? Now, this is another baby which has coarse facial features and large tongue and jaundice. This baby has abdominal distension and umbilical hernia, again hypotonic, and a very, very sluggish, lethargic, dull appearance with coarse facial features and large tongue. So this is basically the clinical manifestation, but one has to remember sometimes hypothyroidism does not cause any clinical manifestation. That's why the babies are screened on day 1 and day 5 for congenital hypothyroidism. So they are picked even if they are asymptomatic. Now, what are the investigations which should be sent in order to diagnose, right? Newborn screening between 1 and day 5 of life with serum TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone level, is the most important method for identifying infants with congenital hypothyroidism. Worldwide, the babies are screened on day 1 to day 5 for hypothyroidism with the help of serum TSH level. Then we can, after the serum TSH level, we can go for ultrasound of the neck in order to find out the location, size, and shape of the thyroid gland. And then thyroid scintigraphy that helps for the presence of or absence of ectopic thyroid tissue or thyroid agenesis. There are certain supportive investigations which also help in confirming the diagnosis after the, sending the serum TSH level and ultrasound. The problems which these babies can have, we go for the skeletal survey of these patients. They have, the distal femoral and proximal tibial epiphyses, which are normally present at birth. They're usually absent in babies with congenital hypothyroidism. There may be deformity or weakening of the 12th thoracic vertebra, or sometimes first or second lumbar vertebra. The X-ray of the skull shows large fontanelles and wide sutures. There may be, when we go for bone age, the bone age will be delayed. There may be delayed indentation. There may be cardiac enlargement and pericardial infusion, which is picked with the help of an echocardiography. So what is the treatment for congenital hypothyroidism? Levothyroxine is a drug of choice, and it is given for congenital hypothyroidism orally. And the recommended dose for newborn is higher than those for elder children. So newborn में high dose क्यों लेनी होती है? Because we know that first 5 years of life में जो है वो आपकी maximum brain growth होती है. So that's why it is given in higher dose right from the beginning in order to prevent mental retardation. And the dose is 10 to 15 microgram per kg per day. And how do we monitor these patients? Not only we monitor their developmental status and the clinical condition, we also monitor the serum levels of T4 and T4 and TSH, and how frequently they should be monitored. Initially, they are monitored every 1 to 2 months in the first 6 months of life, and then every 2 to 4 months between 6 months and 3 years of age. So you can see that how closely we have to monitor the serum T4 and TSH levels in order to adjust those if the levels are not within the reference range. Now, what are the goals of treatment? The goals of treatment is to maintain the serum TSH levels in the reference range and serum-free T4 or total T4 in the upper half of the reference range for the age, so that the baby's brain growth should not be affected. So if the congenital hypothyroidism is diagnosed and treated at the right time, then there will be normal growth and development of the baby. Otherwise, it will lead to irreversible brain damage and permanent mental retardation. So it's very, very important to diagnose congenital hypothyroidism at the right time. And obviously, this should be followed by treatment with proper dose and monitoring of the serum TSH level in order to prevent mental retardation. So this was about congenital hypothyroidism. Now you can see that this is the same patient before and after treatment. This baby has very puffed up face, dull looking, and protruded tongue. And after treatment, you can see the facials are very alert, swelling has gone, and the tongue is the inside the mouth. So we can see the dramatic response after a few months. So that's why it's very important to treat on time. Okay. After congenital hypothyroidism, now we will talk about acquired hypothyroidism. ठीक है, बात later on भी होता है. ठीक है, and this is more common. Acquired hypothyroidism का most common cause जो है वो है autoimmune. ठीक है, autoimmune disorders we know that they are more common in the female gender. And what are the conditions, autoimmune conditions that can cause acquired hypothyroidism? These include Hashimoto's thyroiditis, autoimmune polyglandular syndrome. This means more than one gland is involved, not only the thyroid gland, but other glands are also involved in autoimmune polyglandular syndrome. Celiac disease is also has some autoimmune etiology, and it is also associated with hypothyroidism, acquired hypothyroidism, I better say. Then it can be drug induced. For example, if the patient takes excess iodide, and if the patient is on treatment for Graves' disease, for example, and is taking antithyroid drugs, and the doses are not, in the normal range, and they're taking more than the required amount of drug, it will lead to acquired hypothyroidism as a side effect. Then acquired hypothyroidism can also occur after irradiations, and these irradiations can be due to certain cancers, and radiotherapy की ट्रीटमेंट लग जाती है तो उसके साइड इफेक्ट के तौर पे एक्वायर्ड हाइपोथायरॉयडिज्म हो सकता है. ये मे बी रेडियोएक्टिव आयोडीन की वजह से हो सकता है. एंड आफ्टर थायराइडेक्टमी, ग्रेव्स डिजीज फॉर एग्जांपल की थायराइडेक्टमी की, पूरा थायराइड रिमूव कर दिया और थायरॉक्सिन को प्रॉपर डोज में नहीं ले रहा, तो एक्वायर्ड हाइपोथायरॉयडिज्म हो सकता है. ठीक है. Then there are certain systemic disorders like cystinosis and Langerhans-Sells cytosis, which are associated with acquired hypothyroidism. And there may be inactivation of the thyroid gland by large hemangiomas of the liver. There may be decreased sensitivity of the thyroid hormone. Hypothalamic pituitary disease or CNS tumors like craniopharyngiomas. They are associated with other problems like it can lead to panhypopituitarism. Right? So जब पिट्यूटरी से TSH नहीं आएगा तो इसी तरह दूसरे हार्मोन्स नहीं आएंगे क्रेनियोफैरिंजियोमा, तो एक्वायर्ड हाइपोथायरॉयडिज्म हो सकता है. ठीक है, क्रेनियल इरिटेशन हो रही है for certain brain tumors, and as a side effect it causes malfunction of the pituitary, and it can lead to acquired hypothyroidism. So multiple etiology है, but most common is autoimmune. ठीक है. अच्छा, what are the clinical manifestations of acquired hypothyroidism? We know that thyroid is very, very essential for the normal growth and metabolism of our body. So when a child develops acquired hypothyroidism, their growth will be delayed. Okay, slowing of the growth is first initially missed by the parents, and then, for example, not all forms of acquired hypothyroidism are associated with goiter. Whenever there is goiter, probably they come to notice earlier, where they present to OPD with swelling over the neck, and then they are picked. But whenever there is vague symptoms and signs, they are basically missed. Weight gain is usually caused by fluid retention or mixed edema. They may remain constipated. There may be heat intolerance or cold intolerance. Cold intolerance is more common in hypothyroidism. Decreased energy and increased need for sleep. There may be a skeletal, there may be delay in the skeletal maturation, delay in the puberty, and menstrual disturbances in adolescent females. There may be muscle cramps, muscle weakness, and bradycardia, dry, coarse skin. There may be hair loss, coarse facial features. They have problems with memory, retention, and paresthesias, enlargement of the thyroid or goiter, and they may develop macrocytic anemia. So these are the clinical manifestations of acquired hypothyroidism. Poor school performance आपको मिल सकती है, स्कूल से प्रॉब्लम आएगी कि इसको सब याद नहीं रहता जो है सबक. ठीक है ना, ये सारे फीचर्स हो सकते हैं in cases of acquired hypothyroidism. Now this is a child with acquired hypothyroidism, and we can see that how apathetic he is looking, very, very dull facies, and he has this goiter which is clearly seen. ठीक है, and chubby cheeks, weight gain, ठीक है, and dull appearance. So these are the features of acquired hypothyroidism. अब क्या कैसे डायग्नोज करेंगे? डायग्नोस्टिक स्टडीज में ऑब्वियसली द बेस लाइन विल बी थायराइड प्रोफाइल. वी विल गो फॉर the levels of TSH, serum T3 and T4, and then depending upon the history and examination, we'll go for the workup of autoimmune disorders like thyrotropin, thyroglobulin, or thyroid peroxidase antibodies, TPO antibodies, ultrasonography of the gland, X-ray for bone age, which will be delayed. And the supportive investigations of hypothyroidism include macrocytic anemia. There may be dilutional hyponatremia because of the fluid retention, There may be hypercholesterolemia and elevated serum creatinine phosphokinase. Treatment is again the same. We have to treat acquired hypothyroidism with the help of levothyroxine. But again, the dose for different age group is different. For 1 to 3 years, the dose is 4 to 6 microgram per kg. For 3 to 10 years, the dose is 3 to 5 microgram per kg. And for 10 to 16 years, 2 to 4 microgram per kg. For your level, you can just remember that younger the child, higher will be the dose. Because, as I have already said, it is very, very important for the development of brain, right? So higher dose will be required in the initial first 5 years of life, and then you can see that 10 to 16 years when the dose has decreased. Treatment should be monitored by measuring serum TSH. अब यहाँ पर in contrast to congenital hypothyroidism where we were monitoring initially every month 1 to 2 months हम कर रहे थे for the first 6 months, यहाँ पर आपको monitor करना होगा serum TSH level initially for 4 to 6 months as well as 4 to 6 weeks after any change in the dose. For example, एक patient आपके पास आया जिसका जो TSH level है वो रेफरेंस रेंज से आउट है और आपने डोज बढ़ाई है या डोज कम की है, तो फिर आपको लेवल जल्दी चेक करना होगा, 4 to 6 वीक पे चेक करना होगा डोज एडजस्टमेंट के बाद, ठीक है। वंस द TSH लेवल इज इन द रेफरेंस रेंज, तो फिर आप एवरी 4 to 6 मंथ्स पे आप चेक करते रहते हैं, ठीक है। Okay, now after hypothyroidism we will talk about hyperthyroidism. ठीक है, अब hyperthyroidism में भी similarly we will talk about the congenital hyperthyroidism which is called neonatal Graves' disease, and then the Graves' disease in adolescents, right? So neonatal Graves' disease is caused by transplacental passage of thyrotropin receptor stimulating antibodies. These are called TRSAPs from mother with history of Graves' disease. These antibodies, they cross the placenta and then they affect the newborn. And these mothers, they can have active Graves' disease, they can have Graves' disease in remission, they may have past history of Graves' disease, which was treated with radioiodine ablation or thyroidectomy. Okay, so one has to take the history very, very thoroughly. So occasionally there is a maternal history of chronic lymphocytic thyroiditis with hypothyroidism, and this can lead to congenital hyperthyroidism, where the thyroid gland becomes, functioning, it becomes hyperactive in the newborn baby. In utero, how we diagnose congenital hyperthyroidism? There will be fetal tachycardia and goiter, which can be picked in a good ultrasound, and they may suggest the diagnosis, right? Now, what are the clinical manifestations of congenital hyperthyroidism or neonatal Graves' disease? Many infants born with neonatal Graves' disease are premature and they have intrauterine growth restriction because they live in a very hypercatabolic state in intrauterine life, and that's why their growth is affected, growth is restricted. They can have goiter, and then when they have goiter, this goiter can compress the trachea, and they can develop respiratory difficulty soon after the birth. They may be low birth weight because of the similar, same reason which I have mentioned, because the high catabolic state, the growth, the weight is affected, and they're born with low birth weight. There may be periorbital edema, retraction of the eyelids. There may be hyperthermia, irritability, and feeding difficulties, poor weight gain, tachycardia. बस hypercatabolic state की वजह से their energy demand will be very, very high, and on the other hand, they will not be able to take feed properly. So as a result, their weight will not increase. In fact, there will be poor weight gain or decrease in the weight. They can develop hypertension in the neonatal life, and they can develop heart failure. अब जब heart failure होगा तो hepatomegaly भी आपको मिल सकती है, ठीक है। इसी तरह से cholestatic jaundice भी मिल सकता है in case of neonatal Graves' disease. Now this is the baby with congenital goiter. You can see retraction हुई हुई है पूरे इसकी head की, hyper extension of the neck है यहाँ पे, ठीक है। And this can also obstruct the upper airway. Trachea को compress करेगा तो फिर respiratory difficulties भी हो सकती हैं, और because of this swelling, the baby will not be able to take feed properly. So most cases are sporadic. Dysharmoniogenesis हो सकता है, maternal anti-thyroid drugs, and iodide usage, endemic iodine deficiency, and neonatal Graves' disease. These are other important causes of congenital goiter. ठीक है. Okay. This is a baby with neonatal Graves' disease. You can see hyper alert facies, prominence of the eyes, जैसे बड़ों में proptosis होता है, इसी तरह से यहाँ पे भी proptosis है, ठीक है। और आप देख सकते हैं कि कितना low birth weight है, कितना emaciated सा baby है ये, ठीक है, because of hyper neonatal Graves' disease और hyper and irritability and feeling difficulties, they straight away can present with symptoms of heart failure also, right? Okay. Now, how do we investigate a patient with congenital hyperthyroidism? Again, we will go for serum TSH levels, and in that case, because of the feedback inhibition, serum TSH levels will be suppressed. ठीक है ना, जब एलिवेटेड होंगे T3 T4 तो ये फीडबैक इनहिबिशन देंगे पिट्यूटरी को, तो TSH के लेवल्स आपको कम मिलेंगे. इसके अलावा इफ यू आर सस्पेक्टिंग कि ऑटो इम्यून कॉज है, तो आप जो थायराइड रिसेप्टर एंटीबॉडीज हैं वो आप करवा लेंगे. ठीक है, वो मार्कली एलिवेटेड होंगी एट बर्थ. Now, what is the treatment for congenital Graves' disease or hyperthyroidism या neonatal Graves' disease? Methimazole is a drug, okay, and it is given for the treatment of Graves' disease or neonatal hyperthyroidism, and it can be given with oral or intravenous administration of non-selective beta blocker, especially when the patient presents with heart failure. Okay, in order to decrease the sympathetic activity, we gave a combination of methimazole and oral or intravenous non-selective beta-adrenergic blocker. In refractory cases, we can also use Lugol solution, potassium iodide solution. And if thyrotoxicosis is severe and it leads to heart failure, then again, सिर्फ आपको जो सपोर्टिव थेरेपी है, parenteral fluid थेरेपी करनी होगी, corticosteroids देने होंगे, और इसके अलावा डिजिटलाइजेशन में भी indicated in cases of heart failure caused by thyrotoxicosis. Now, what about the prognosis of neonatal Graves' disease or neonatal thyrotoxicosis? Most cases of neonatal Graves' disease, they remit by 3 months of age, and the babies are, they become normal. But occasionally, this problem persists into the childhood, right? And what are the complications which are associated with neonatal Graves' disease? It is associated with advanced osseous maturation. जैसे आपको hypothyroidism में बोन एज डिले मिल रही थी, यहाँ पे एडवांस बोन एज मिलेगी. ठीक है ना, और समटाइम्स प्रिकॉशियस पुबर्टी भी हो सकती है, माइक्रोसेफेली होगी, क्रेनियोसिनोस्टोसिस हो सकता है, कॉग्निटिव इम्पेयरमेंट हो सकती है. ठीक है, व्हेन द ट्रीटमेंट इज डिलेड. Now, lastly, talk about thyrotoxicosis, Graves' disease in adolescents especially. Okay? So, Graves' disease occurs in approximately 0.02% of children, that is 1 in 5,000, and is most common cause of pediatric hyperthyroidism. And as any other autoimmune disorder, Graves' disease is more common in the females. The female to male ratio is 5:1, and the peak incidence for Graves' disease is 15 to 11 years. So, we can say that it is more common in adolescent age groups with female predominance. So many children with Graves' disease, they have a family history of autoimmune thyroid disease. ठीक है, हमें पता है ये thyroid की जो issues हैं वो families में run करते हैं. ठीक है, so whenever you see a patient with Graves' disease, always ask about other family members affected with either Graves' disease or any other autoimmune disorder. ठीक है. अच्छा, what is the etiology of thyrotoxicosis या Graves' disease? So TSH receptor antibodies हो सकती हैं, there may be inappropriate TSH secretion, there may be activating mutations in the TSH receptor, autoimmune destruction of the gland, very very common, viral, bacterial or fungal infection, there may be toxic drug effects, radiation, ectopic hyperthyroidism. ठीक है ना, कहीं ectopic जो है वो जो है thyroid hormones produce कर रहा है, and exposure to excess iodine. So this can all lead Graves' disease. Now, this slide is very important and it is showing the conditions which are associated with hyperthyroidism. And you can see the majority जो है ना autoimmune disorders हैं. Like diabetes mellitus, we know that it has, although multifactorial है, but autoimmune इसका etiology है. So hyperthyroidism के साथ diabetes mellitus हो सकती है. It can has Addison disease, vitiligo, psoriasis, children with Down syndrome. They most of the children with Down syndrome, they have thyroid issues. They can have hypothyroidism, they can have hyperthyroidism. ठीक है, so जब भी हमारे पास Down syndrome का बेबी आता है, उसमें हम thyroid function जरूर कराते हैं. ठीक है, ओके. रिमेटॉइड आर्थराइटिस हो सकता है एसोसिएशन में. इसी तरह टर्नर सिंड्रोम वाले जो पेशेंट्स हैं, दे आर एट रिस्क ऑफ डेवलपिंग हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, पर्नीशियस एनीमिया, एलोपेशिया एरिएटा, मायस्थेनिया ग्रेविस, सीलियाक डिजीज. तो जब भी हम एक ऑटोइम्यून डिसऑर्डर को जब हम डायग्नोज करते हैं, तो बाकी ऑटोइम्यून डिसऑर्डर्स के लिए स्क्रीन जरूर करते हैं. ठीक है, सो अगर डायग्नोज हुआ है विद ग्रेव्स डिजीज, तो उसको हम डायबिटीज के लिए जैसे हीमोग्लोबिन A1C भेज देंगे, उसका इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स कराएंगे एडिशंस के लिए, स्किन एग्जामिनेशन इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. ठीक है, कोई डिस्मॉर्फिज्म तो नहीं है, जॉइंट एग्जामिनेशन इज इम्पॉर्टेंट. अगेन इफ इट्स अ फीमेल, वी लुक फॉर टर्नर के जो साइंस एंड सिम्टम्स हैं उसके लिए CBC देखेंगे. ये सारी चीज़ें आपको देखनी होंगी. सीलियाक के लिए आपने जो है वो TTGA करवा लेंगे. ठीक है. So screening for other autoimmune disorders is also very very important. अच्छा जी, now what are the clinical manifestations? अब आप यहाँ पे देखिए कोई सिस्टम बचा हुआ नहीं है. थायराइड इज एक्सट्रीमली इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर नॉर्मल डेवलपमेंट. ठीक है, और अगर थायराइड का प्रॉब्लम है तो आपके सारे सिस्टम्स जो है ना वो खराब हो जाएंगे. कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल में क्या सिम्टम्स होंगे? देयर मे बी वेट लॉस डिस्पाइट गुड एपेटाइट. ठीक है, देयर मे बी हीट इंटॉलरेंस, देयर मे बी स्वेटिंग, perspiration एंड पॉलीडिप्सिया बिकॉज ऑफ द जब ज्यादा स्वेट करेगा तो पॉलीडिप्सिया भी होगा. ठीक है, so despite good appetite there will be वेट लॉस. न्यूरोमस्कुलर में क्या आपको सिम्टम्स मिलेंगे? मे बी ट्रेमर्स हो सकते हैं, नर्वसनेस हो सकती है, एंजाइटी, फटीग, वीकनेस, डिस्टर्ब स्लीप पैटर्न होगा वो. ठीक है, पुअर कंसंट्रेशन होगी. ठीक है, ओके, एंड हाइपर एक्टिविटी, हाइपर रिफ्लेक्सिया, मसल वीकनेस आपको मिल रही होगी ऑन एग्जामिनेशन. कार्डियोवैस्कुलर में पैल्पिटेशन, सिर्फ पैल्पिटेशन के साथ भी आते हैं हाइपरथायरॉइडिज्म वाले बच्चे. ठीक है, तो टैकीकार्डिया आपको एग्जामिनेशन में मिलेगा. यू मे गेट हाइपरटेंशन ऑन एग्जामिनेशन. पल्मोनरी में डिस्निया होगा, टेकिपनिया होगा. गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टिनल में डायरिया की हिस्ट्री होगी, नोजिया वॉमिटिंग की हिस्ट्री होगी, देन देयर बी एब्डोमिनल टेंडरनेस. ठीक है, जनरली बड़े थिन लीन से बच्चे होते हैं. या स्किन पे आपको इंक्रीज पर्सपायरेशन होगी, वार्म मॉइस्ट स्किन मिल रही होगी. तो हिस्ट्री में हम पूछते हैं ना पसीना ज़्यादा तो नहीं आता. ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीज़ें. रिप्रोडक्टिव में मेंस्ट्रुअल डिस्टर्बेंसेस हो सकते हैं. और आई एग्जामिनेशन और सॉरी सिम्टम्स जो हैं उसमें डिप्लोपिया होगा. ठीक है, आईलिड स्वेलिंग हो सकती है, प्रीट्रॉबिटल पेन हो सकता है. ठीक है, प्रोप्टोसिस है, आईलिड रिट्रैक्शन एंड लैग, पेरिऑर्बिटल एडीमा, ऑप्थेल्मोप्लेजिया. इवन यहाँ पे एक्सपोजर केराटाइटिस भी हो सकता है बिकॉज ऑफ द आईलिड रिट्रैक्शन एंड लैग. जो आईज है वो प्रॉपर्ली क्लोज नहीं होती है, तो क्या होता है एक्सपोजर केराटाइटिस, कंजंक्टिवाइटिस. ठीक है ना, रेडनेस आपको मिल रही होती है आईज में. अच्छा, यहाँ पे देखिए पेशेंट है विद हाइपरथायरॉइडिज्म. यू कैन सी कि इसको प्रोप्टोसिस है. ठीक है ना, और बहुत ही पर्सपायरेशन है, प्रोप्टोसिस है, हाइपर अलर्ट है. ठीक है ना, इसके अलावा पैलर भी इसमें विजिबल है. ठीक है, सो दीज आर ऑल द पिक्चर्स ऑफ पेशेंट विद ग्रेव्स डिजीज. Now, this is something which is very worth mentioning. And what is thyroid-storm? Basically, in a patient with known Graves' disease or hyperthyroidism, thyroid-storm क्या होता है? It is manifested by severe biochemical derangements, hyperthermia, tachycardia, restlessness and heart failure. ठीक है, और ये बेसिकली एक मेडिकल इमरजेंसी है और दिस कैन rapidly progress to delirium, coma and death. So one has to pick this condition very very quickly because if patient आपके पास जो known है Graves disease का और वो इस तरह से present करता है with tachycardia and symptoms of heart failure, one should think about thyroid-storm and treat it promptly. Precipitating events include any trauma, infection, radioactive iodine treatment or surgery. ठीक है, सो क्लोजली आपको मॉनिटर करना होता है इवन आफ्टर सर्जरी थायरॉइड-स्ट्रॉम ना. सो व्हाट इज द मैनेजमेंट फॉर थायरॉइड-स्ट्रॉम? ठीक है, सो आप करेंगे क्या? गोल आपका ये होगा कि इनहिबिशन ऑफ थायराइड हार्मोन फॉर्मेशन एंड सिक्रेशन. सो यू विल यूज प्रोपाइल थायरोडिउरेसिल. ठीक है, और डोज आप लोग ना भी याद करें तो बस ड्रग का नाम पता होना चाहिए और इसको आप यूज़ कर सकते हैं. इसके अलावा सैचुरेटेड सोल्यूशन ऑफ पोटेशियम आयोडाइड. ठीक है, आपने बीटा ब्लॉकर्स को यूज़ करना है, प्रोप्रानोलॉल फॉर एग्जांपल करके सिंपैथेटिक ब्लॉकेड हो सके. प्रेडनिसोलोन या ग्लूकोकॉर्टिकॉइड यूज़ किए जाएंगे और सपोर्टिव ट्रीटमेंट में बिल्कुल ये फ्लूइड्स. इसके अलावा टेम्परेचर कंट्रोल करना है, ऑक्सीजन इफ नीडेड, डिजिटलाइजेशन फॉर हार्ट फेलियर एंड ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ प्रेसिपिटेटिंग फैक्टर्स. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर इन्फेक्शन में प्रेसिपिटेट किया है तो यू हैव टू गेट ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम एंटीबायोटिक्स. अच्छा, जनरली हम कैसे डायग्नोज करते हैं अपना ग्रेव्स डिजीज को? अगेन थायराइड प्रोफाइल कराएंगे, उसमें आपको सीरम TSH लेवल सप्रेस्ड मिलेंगे और free T4 and T3 are elevated, and most patients have thyrotropin receptor antibodies, and radioactive iodine uptake is elevated in Graves' disease, whereas it is low in other causes of thyrotoxicosis like अगर thyroiditis है या exogenous thyroid hormone ingestion, तो उसमें जो है ना जब आप स्किनटिग्राफी कराएंगे, थायराइड स्कैन कराएंगे तो अपटेक कम होगा, लेकिन ग्रेव्स डिजीज में अपटेक विल बी elevated. Now, what are the treatment options available for the management of Graves' disease? Methimazole, propylthiouracil, these are the drugs, but you should remember that these are the drugs which um, can cause certain side effects. So when we start methimazole, we have to counsel the patient that whenever there is fever or signs of any infection, they should seek medical attention without wasting time, because methimazole can cause agranulocytosis and this can worsen the infection, right? So CBC हम इसका monitor करते हैं जब हम methimazole start करते हैं तो सी के इसके जो WBCs हैं या agranulocytes इनके काउंट क्या चल रहे हैं. ठीक है, Propyl thiuracil is usually not recommended या not a good drug for treatment of hyperthyroidism in children. ठीक है, but there are certain conditions जहाँ पे आपको देनी पड़ती है, but we have to monitor for the side effects also. ठीक है, adolescent females भी जैसे आप दे रहे हैं, ये जो आपका जो they are associated with congenital anomalies ना. ठीक है, तो अगर कोई इस तरह की एज ग्रुप है जिसमें adolescents हैं या younger age group है जहाँ they can become pregnant, तो propyl thiuracil आपको for the time being stop करनी पड़ती है given pregnancy can cause congenital anomalies. Similarly, both methimazole and propyl thiuracil they can cause liver dysfunction. ठीक है, तो आपको LFTs भी मॉनिटर करने होते हैं, कोलिस्टेटिक जॉन्डिस ये करा सकते हैं, बट these are the drugs which are used. ठीक है, propranolol और atenolol basically beta blockers हैं, you know, एंड ये हम यूज़ कर रहे थे स्पेशली जब सिम्पैथेटिक एक्टिविटी ज़्यादा हो, जैसे हमने बात की थी थायराइड स्ट्रॉम में या हार्ट फेलियर में जब पेशेंट आ रहा है. ठीक है, इसी तरह जो अदर ट्रीटमेंट ऑप्शन अवेलेबल हैं इसमें आपके पास रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन है, उससे आप कर सकते हैं ट्रीटमेंट. ये ड्रग्स से ज़्यादा अच्छा रिजल्ट देता है लेकिन ज़्यादा थोड़ा सा एक्सपेंसिव होगा. सर्जरी इज़ द डेफिनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट फॉर ग्रेव्स डिजीज विच इज़ नॉट रिस्पॉन्डिंग टू द अबव मोडालिटीज़. इसमें आप टोटल थायराइडेक्टमी कर सकते हैं, बट आफ्टर थायराइडेक्टमी आपको फिर पेशेंट को अगेन सीरम TSH T3 T4 मॉनिटर करने होंगे और थायरोक्सिन समटाइम्स स्टार्ट करना पड़ जाता है बिकॉज आपने जो सोर्स है थायराइड की वो तो ख़त्म कर दी ना, पूरा ग्लैंड आपने रिमूव कर दिया. तो जो नॉर्मल मेटाबॉलिज्म के लिए थायरोक्सिन की नीड है उसके लिए फिर आपको थायरोक्सिन स्टार्ट करनी होगी. सो इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है. थायराइड ग्लैंड जो है वो बहुत ही मतलब जब हम मैनेज करते हैं तो बहुत क्लोजली मॉनिटर करना होता है पेशेंट को फॉर द कॉम्प्लिकेशंस ऑफ द डिजीज एज वेल एज फॉर द कॉम्प्लिकेशंस ऑफ द थेरेपी. ठीक है, चलिए आपको कोई क्वेश्चन है तो आप लोग पूछ लें. I try to make it as simple as possible. ठीक है, सो बस आपको एग्जाम के लिए सारे टॉपिक करने हैं. कॉन्जेनिटल हाइपोथायराइडिज्म एंड एक्वायर्ड हाइपोथायराइडिज्म, इसी तरह से कॉन्जेनिटल हाइपरथायराइडिज्म इंक्लूड्स मेनली जो कॉमन है ये तो आपको अच्छी तरह से पढ़ना है. ठीक है, एनी क्वेश्चन? व्हेन टू यूज कार्बेमazole एंड देन मेथिमazole. ठीक है, बेसिकली मेथिमazole हम बच्चे में यूज़ कर रहे होते हैं, कार्बेमazole इतना नहीं यूज़ करते. ठीक है, और reference book is Nelson Textbook of Pediatrics, 21st edition. Any other question? Isn't radioactive iodine dangerous for growth? Yeah, definitely. देखो हर चीज़ के side effects हैं. All the drugs which are used, even surgery, everything has side effects. So that's why I have repeatedly said that we have to monitor for you know the serum TSH levels and overall the growth and development of the patient. But these are the basically treatment modalities. ठीक है, तो treat तो करना है with close monitoring. ठीक है, so if we will not treat, then the growth will definitely affected with hyperthyroidism और या hypothyroid, दोनों सूरतों में developmental delay होगा in case of और आपका जो osseous maturation है वो delay होगी in case of hypothyroidism. और hyperthyroidism अगर है तो advanced bone age, precocious puberty, हर एक की अपनी complications है. ठीक है, तो आपको treat करना है. Is it okay if we do not learn doses? You just have to remember at least the names of the drugs. ठीक है, डोज याद हो तो अच्छी बात है, लेकिन अगर नहीं याद तो इंशाल्लाह इतना कोई इशू नहीं है आपके लेवल के लिए. स्पेशली थायराइड रिलेटेड डोजेस अगर ना भी याद हो तो कोई इतना मसला नहीं. Okay, and also in what conditions do we measure free T3, T4, in which conditions total T2? Generally, you go for serum TSH levels, whole thyroid profile, T3, T4 for both hypothyroidism as well as hyperthyroidism. Why thyroidectomy is recommended in children, subtotal or total? Okay, when other treatment modalities are not responding, for example, this is not the first choice, obviously. We go for, we treat with drugs and radioactive iodine, and when it is not responding, then ultimate treatment or definitive treatment is surgery. Okay, which drug should be given in pregnancy and lactation? Miss that one. Pregnancy में देखो propyl thiuracil जो है वो आपने avoid करना. Okay, excess iodine causes both hypo, yes, both, yes. Any other question? प्रोपाइल थायरोइड का हमने बताया था आपको कि वो कॉन्जेनिटल एनोमलीज भी करवा रहा होता है, ठीक है। तो इस थायराइड प्रोफाइल वी चेक फ्री T3 T4 levels और टोटल। अच्छा, इन थायराइड प्रोफाइल वी डू थायराइड स्टिमुलेटिंग दैट इज TSH लेवल्स। इसके अलावा फ्री T4 और T3 लेवल्स कराते हैं। अच्छा जी, when to give radioactive iodine in children, like what are the indications? देखो ट्रीट इंडिकेशंस तो यही हैं कि when the symptoms of hyperthyroidism are present, ठीक है, and the patient is not responding to the drug therapy, तो फिर आप सेकंड जो ऑप्शन आपके पास है वो रेडियो एक्टिव आयोडीन का। मोस्ट एक्यूरेट फ्री T3, नो नो नो, फ्री T4, या फिर आप टोटल T4 करवाएं और T3 लेवल्स करवाएं। व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन फ्री T3 T4 एंड सीरम T3 T4? टोटल लेवल्स बेसिकली है। देखो एक बाउंड फॉर्म होती है, एल्बुमिन के साथ बाउंड भी होता है ना, तो आप फ्री T3 T4 और बाउंड फॉर्म करवा रहे, दोनों को चेक करना होता है। ठीक है, मोस्ट एक्यूरेट इज नथिंग, वी हैव टू गो फॉर द होल थायराइड प्रोफाइल, ठीक है। That's it. Any other question or shall we stop? Thank you very much and Allah Hafiz.